What's going on, guys? Seth and Chevy here for Tasty Loot Gaming doing a TLG Reacts. We're going to be reacting today to Animal Crossing New Horizons official summer update trailer. I've not seen that. I'm pretty sure you maybe have seen it, so we're going to talk about that. We're also going to be reacting to something Chevy's also seen that I have not seen, which is the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered Edition new features trailer, closed captions.
Mouthful.
That last part was very important. And then we're going to reverse it a bit, and we're going to watch something I've seen that Chevy has not seen, which is the Cyberpunk 2077 Night City Wire Episode 1, which, as many of you already know, within the community, and if you're coming here for the first time, I already reacted to this on stream with the community for like 2 hours. We watched this. We watched a bunch of the previews, because after this, at 9:30 after this, there was an embargo that got lifted, and everyone who played the game got to talk about it. So I definitely recommend checking that out if you want to see my first reactions. But more so, we're going to get your reactions. We're going to discuss what we see here. So yeah, and then one last quick reminder, we have Plus Club coming out tomorrow, and we have Game of the Month coming out at some point after that very soon, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, check out my stream of Cyberpunk 2077. You're getting double the Cyberpunk this week. Before we jump into the first video, which is the Animal Crossing New Horizons summer thing, got anything you want to say?
Like, just in general?
Yeah, I don't care. Say what the fuck you want. Say hello to people. I don't give a
Hi.
shit.
I mean, not really. I'm just excited to be able to watch that finally. It's been 2 days since it came out, and I've been just avoiding it like the plague. I did get one thing spoiled for me because I was not expecting the realm of anime to have
I don't think anybody was.
A spoiler there, and I follow Studio Trigger on Twitter, so
honestly, that's probably, first off, it's impressive in 2 days you haven't heard shit, but although I think I talked to you about the genital customization a bit, because that shit's interesting, but it's pretty impressive you didn't get anything spoiled for you. But at least the thing that did get spoiled for you is not necessarily connected outside of brand to the game. So
yeah, though it was exciting. I love Studio Trigger. So
yeah. Yeah, when I first watched it on stream, they said it, and I was like, first I was like, anime, interesting, that's cool. And they said Trigger, and I was like, Trigger, what is that? Trigger? Studio Trigger? It's like, wait. And it was just kind of dawned on me on the stream. I was like, Chevy's talked about that. Wait, that's the people who make fucking, what, Kill la Kill and
Gurren Lagann, Little Witch Academia, BNA more recently. They also did a movie called, I'm probably going to butcher the name, but Premiere. So
yeah, so, and then as that dawned on me, I was like, wait, that's actually going to be cool, because those guys are like really stylized in the way that they make their anime. So it's pretty neat.
Yeah, it'll really suit like the neon colors and stuff. It'll pop.
Definitely.
So,
yeah. As it like dawned on me slowly, fucking, I was just like, that'll be cool. Like they'll nail that for sure.
Yeah, it'll be fun at the very least. They make like hyper action.
Yeah,
like
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So
yeah, you want to dive in? You got more to say?
I'll wait till we watch each video. So yeah, all right, I'm good.
Let's jump in. First one we're watching is Animal Crossing New Horizons official summer update trailer. This is about 1.5 minutes. Let's go.
Soon.
Banger ass music. Oh shit.
This is interesting too because people have been finding ways to like clip into the ocean, but now the system's going to change.
I feel like this is a huge update that you can swim now.
They're really, I think it's like the third update they've done to this game that's come out.
Can you swim in the rivers?
Oh, I don't know. They don't advertise it. I think it's just ocean.
Who the fuck's that?
That's Pascal, apparently.
Yeah, he's dope. That person's house is fucking nice.
And now it's underwater themed because that's all added. So the game is definitely a long-term investment to be able to have nice things.
Shit compared to that person's house. Is he alright?
Gulliver washes up on your shore all the time. And you have to help him fix his phone so he can get home.
He looks like fucking he washes up on shores all the time.
That's not his normal outfit.
Shocked at all.
So they've added something to him. And then yeah, part 2 is coming out in August, which they're not showing. So
Interesting. That's cool that it's not just like I could just listen to that song all day. Honestly, like it's so unabrasive. I was just like, I almost made the day. It almost made just sitting here fucking better. It's a good job. That's really cool because, well, first off, this whole trailer was, of course, charming. It's fucking Animal Crossing, but it's neat they're adding whole new features to the game.
Yeah,
this isn't like here's some new clothes which I would definitely take, or here's some new house items which I would definitely take. But it's like here's a whole new thing you can do now because in the beginning of the game, as I've pretty much only experienced, you run around a lot, just kind of collecting shit and grabbing stuff, and to be able to do that in the ocean, I think is pretty neat. What exactly were they grabbing down there? I fucking kind of forgot at this point.
just more like random sea life, like starfish and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
and then you can take those to the museum, or like Pascal will show up and he'll ask if he can have what you just got, and he'll like trade you stuff for it. And then they don't really go into the Gulliver thing too much, but that's, like I said, this is not his normal outfit, so it makes me think that there's going to be more features added to him as well. So
It's like he was on a ship.
well, he's a crewman. He's usually in a blue suit though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then he sits there and makes really bad jokes the whole time while he's just talking about trying to, like, how he got knocked off the ship, and then he's like, okay, I got to call my shipmates to get back, and then he'll try to use his phone. It's busted, and you have to dig up pieces of broken cell phone out of the sand to help him fix his phone. So.
I like how the trailer just starts out with someone in a swimsuit just running and jumping into the ocean, like a big action shot. Check this out. It's a big reveal.
I mean, it's pretty surprising because that's a barrier now. So
yeah.
I also like you got a good freeze frame there where they actually like close their eyes and you can see them kind of like bending like you would when you go in the water. It's a little too much detail for a little cutesy game.
Oh, I love it. There's so much character to this fucking game. Look how stoked they are. So just jumping in. No, it's really cool though. I'm actually excited for that. I'm excited for the idea of them even just adding features like that, because this game will be a different game. It reminds me of like an indie game that comes out in early access, except for it's Nintendo, so it's like not janky.
Yeah,
like when Nintendo games come out, they just work typically.
Yeah, no kidding. The one thing they need to do, which they haven't done in this game that other Animal Crossings have done really well, is they usually add a multiplayer like thing to do eventually. And we haven't really seen that yet. So.
I would love for them to add more multiplayer type stuff. That'd be huge. Specifically because a lot of people are playing this multiplayer, so it would make complete sense to do that.
Yeah, because right now you just hang out and make up your own fun. So
yeah, which was, I mean, when we played it, I wasn't bored. I just, it'd be cool if there's more activities to do together.
For sure. And that did used to exist in Animal Crossing. So hopefully they bring some of that still. But
I feel like they got to.
Well, at this point, they've updated the game multiple times this year. And they already are still updating it. So I imagine until people stop playing this game, and with the amount of copies it sold, they're going to keep putting money.
I feel like they're going to support it really well. Yeah, just because this is probably the biggest Animal Crossing has ever been when it comes to like reception, which the game has never been like not known of or not cared about, but it's always had a specific group of people who are into it, and now it seems like it's like the Nintendo game right now.
I think it also helps. Like a lot of things, it's more accessible because of the Switch. So not everyone is a handheld gamer. Me and you are like that. The Switch allows you to play at home. So which ironically, I play my Switch mobile most of the time.
I was on stream recently just fucking going off on how awesome the fucking Switch is. I just still can't get over how awesome that console is.
Yeah.
Because it fucking cuts out the middleman of like, oh, I don't really play mobile, so I don't want to buy that mobile console. Oh, I don't really like playing console. I like playing mobile.
It's tablet size, so like you can see on it too. So
the screen's huge. It's gigantic. It's perfect. But also just that you can play it at home. Like that's how I'm gonna play it 98% of the time.
Yeah.
So it's just such a good idea that just was executed perfectly.
For sure.
So, and that whatever Nintendo releases for whatever, I don't have to go. Oh, I gotta buy a fucking 3DS for that. Like they're just all coming out on Switch. I'm like, cool.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously a tangent at this point, but I bought fucking oh no, what's it called?
Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yeah, I bought Xenoblade Chronicles for Switch, and they cleaned up that game real good.
I want to pick it up.
It's really nice looking. So
it looks cool. Although when I was watching somebody play it, I was like, Looks like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which I know is kind of weird to say, but I played the first one a little bit on 3DS, and it did not look like that. No. And then I played Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and I love it. It's one of my favorite JRPGs. And then watching someone play the first one, I'm like, that looks like the second one. So it's probably supposed to like that.
It looks really nice.
But it looks good. It has the same. The Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has this weird thing where like it has these big open fucking areas that are just fucking vast. There's just wildlife everywhere, and there's shit that'll be like level 50 flying around and like level 2 shit walking around. Like it's really like, don't fuck with that thing.
It kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy 12 in some
it's
ways.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like I had to get used to that because anytime you go into an open area, there's all sorts of different leveled things, and there's things that are even slightly harder than like I fought like 3 things that were like a level higher than me, and it almost fucked me up, and I barely made it out. And there's things that you're just not gonna fucking be able to fight. And then there's also things you can just kill easily. So, and that when I was watching somebody play the first one, the remake or the fuck, it looked like that too. I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So, it seems like there's more in common with the 2 on Switch than the original one and the second one, because, like I said, the original one, it's just because of the limitations of the console, I don't think was realized to this degree. Although I'm sure people who are big fans of the original one probably think they're pretty similar. But a couple of videos I watched that the new one's pretty fucking updated. Huh. They even updated some of the systems and shit, I guess.
Yeah, I need to play a little more. I barely touched it, but it's pretty good so far. That being said, going back to Animal Crossing, sorry. I think their timing's really good with this too, just because I'm kind of getting into a point where I'm not turning it on every day now. So this will hopefully reignite me to continue playing it a lot more. So
I'm wondering next time I log in, what new shit people are gonna have to say to me. Like, oh, what's up, stranger? Oh, I haven't seen you in a couple months.
I'll say I didn't play for 2 days, and they were saying that to me. So yeah,
they're bad about that. They like to make you feel bad. They're like your kids or some shit that you're like working late. They're like, well, I haven't seen you forever. It's like, sorry.
I mean, my wife's like that, so
yeah, makes sense. Anything else you want to say on this?
Looking forward to trying it.
It looks cool.
It's free.
I'm into it. Yeah, fucking. I love the idea that they're doing that. So,
more to come in August. So 1 more month.
And it's got that fucking Animal Crossing charm where everybody's just fucking jumping in the water, going woohoo, and fucking just having. There's nothing. There's no bad in Animal Crossing. Everyone's just chill.
Till Red rips you off.
Every fucking thing you find, somebody wants it. So there's value to every useless fucking thing you did that day. You just walk around just eating grass, and someone's gonna go, "That's good. I'm gonna find a way to pay you for this." Like it's just you're just always doing right in fucking Animal Crossing. Let us know in the comments what you guys think of Animal Crossing New Horizons official summer update trailer. You excited for it? You're not excited for it? What would you like to see them add to Animal Crossing New Horizons? You want to see more multiplayer stuff? You want to see more just in general like content? Is there any kind of modes or something you'd like to see? Any kind of functionalities you'd like to see? Are you excited to swim? Are you excited to see what the fuck Gulliver's up to? Pascal, all that shit. Let us know everything you're thinking about in the comments below.
Pascal one throws me off because Pascal, I always think of Nier, and that those are not the same type of game in tone. So,
although I do like that name, so I already like that guy then. And his fucking aesthetic, he looked like the Life Aquatic almost.
Oh,
like that French like fucking submarine look to him. Next video we're gonna watch is Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered Edition new features trailer. I'm not gonna say closed captions, even though I just did.
You even added more words.
Yep. We're gonna watch this. This is a remaster of the original game that came out on the GameCube. This is something that me and you have been kind of interested in kind of watching because we did own this on the GameCube back in the day, and we didn't have the means to do the multiplayer functionality.
I also think we were too young to appreciate it, as I brought up earlier.
We talked about that before we filmed, and that is absolutely the case for me because I've grown to like JRPGs a lot more, or just RPGs in general as I've gotten older. When I was younger, I was way more into like shooters and stuff. But it is a game that I feel like was wasted on us at the time, and this is something that I've been kind of celebrating. Games that didn't get their due, like they didn't get. They got released, but they didn't get to nail their potential. And so some games are getting brought back and people are like loving them and stuff. And I always kind of love to see that.
I think it's a win-win too, because if it does really well, it shows the company interest in the brand that is no longer in
and we
production.
might get a Crystal Chronicles 2.
Or something that's similar in design. After watching this, and I don't want to talk about this, but it made me think of that Final Fantasy, I guess it was like Monster Hunter, no, PSO style game that was on DS that we played.
I liked that game, yeah.
I would love to see a Switch version of that, and that's optimized to not lag really bad when you're playing 4-player. So,
what was the name of that game?
Explorers, I think.
Yeah,
yeah.
That game was dope.
It's a lot of fun. You could tell it was like a side project.
I just don't like mobile games, man.
If they were to just reboot it,
if they put that on Switch, I'd fucking play it regularly. It was Monster Hunter, except for fucking Final Fantasy.
Was it Monster Hunter or was it PSO? It was that style of game for people.
Yeah, you went on to areas, you had to go hunt. It was Monster Hunter because you had to go hunt down specific things, and then you had to get stuff from them to build stuff.
Right. I just couldn't remember.
But it was kind of like PSO too. Yeah,
I just remember having fun playing co-op.
Yeah. So. It was neat. Yeah, I don't like this, man. I don't like fucking Game Gear Micro fucking playing games and shit. I want to be able to sit and look at a fucking screen. Anyway, this will be interesting for me, though, because I am kind of hyped on this. I like the idea of a multiplayer Final Fantasy. And again, like I said, I feel like the game was wasted. Its potential is wasted on us. And I feel like if it was the case for us like that, for some other people, it's probably like that as well. So I might be able to breathe some new life into this as a franchise, as you were kind of saying, or, Square possibly having ideas of doing something similar to this. So hopefully they nail it. I feel like I'm probably going to pick this up without even watching this already, because every time I've seen like pictures of that, I'm like, yeah, it looks cool to me now. When I was younger, I was like, eh.
Yeah, I feel like it's a day one buy for me, and it's coming out soon. So
yeah, well, I'm sure they'll say it in the video.
Yes.
Ready to watch it?
Yep.
All right, 3, 2, 1, and go.
Oh,
looks really cleaned up.
Crystal.
Mm-hmm.
A
Nice
new
GameCube game.
adventure with your friends.
As I'm saying, it looks
awaits.
cleaned up compared.
My faithful travel companion,
Oh, I like this song too.
our yearly
Remastered.
journey to collect myrrh is about to begin anew.
I like the visual style. I
To
remember
live
not liking the
amidst
visual
this
style when I was a kid.
poisonous
It's weird.
miasma.
I remember not liking it. Because I was like, I like Final
require
Fantasy 7. I like Final
crystal's
Fantasy 8.
Yeah.
To renew its
But now I'm like,
powerful
okay.
glow, we must seek myrrh again.
I'm already
There
sold.
are
I already want this.
Yet frightful places in the world outside. Paths full of monsters, glimmering waters, a fiery volcano, and lost villages. We will have many encounters with people living to their fullest and caravanners who share our burden. Many adventures await. Each one will become a precious memory.
Throwing woogles.
We'll keep
That's
it
fucked
diary
up.
so that we don't forget. Yes, a chronicle of our journey. For our village, for our family, we will bring back the myrrh.
Yeah, I'm sold.
I fucking love Final Fantasy
Let's
music.
set off
Yeah, me too.
on an adventure. Choose your caravana from 4 unique tribes. Clavats are skilled defenders. Loties are small but strong.
Oof.
Ukes are masters of magic. Selkies are carefree and agile. Customize your appearance from 40 initial variations and discover items that allow
Say
you
40?
to mimic caravanners you meet on your journey.
They did add stuff to the remaster.
Good. Add more.
The crystal chalice is your lifeline in the outside world. Stray too
It's a
far
smart
from the
way to
chalice
keep everyone together.
and risk the damaging effects of poisonous miasma.
So this is that mode from fucking Path of Exile?
And then you can set it down to join combat as well, like Faith Underground there.
To your tribe's strength. Cast
It also adds
different
to the challenge.
spells by equipping Magicite. Combine Magicite and fuse spells together for more powerful magic. In online multiplayer, synchronize your magic and attacks with your friends to perform more powerful spells and skills Communicate to take down enemies together. Now, take on more difficult dungeons and enemies for a bigger challenge. And don't worry, there are new, mightier weapons to aid your fight.
Little
What
guy
the
with a sword.
fuck? That sword was dope. I'm so sold on this. This looks so much. This looks fun as fuck.
Yeah.
Form a caravan across platforms with crossplay. Play together, whether on console or
Really?
your
Yep.
smartphone.
You play something fucking. Does that cross save?
Cross save, crossplay.
New character voices.
They say that, I just didn't hear it.
I don't think I heard the cross save
Okay,
thing, but
yeah,
I've
okay.
heard people say that. So don't take that one 100%.
Yeah.
I'm just a Moogle that likes to get around.
Why does he talk like that?
Keep your chin up. You'll get a year's worth of Murray.
It's the worst
in no
part of the
time.
trailer for me. The voice acting is kind of rough.
That's its own game. It's fine.
Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered Edition.
Dude, I'm so stoked for this. Especially if I can fucking.
Take on 3 dungeons and join your friends in crossplay for free with the Light Edition.
So you can try it free.
Really?
And
Plus, if a player with the full game invites others to their caravan, Light Edition caravanners can also journey with them through 13 dungeons together. Set
Wow, that's
out
cool.
on a new
They're trying to sell this
adventure
game.
accessibility.
with friends
Yeah.
old
It's crazy.
and
Well, they're not really
new.
losing a whole lot of money on this game, so.
I love this song.
I like all the music that they've played so far.
August 27th.
That's not soon.
It's like a month. Wow, sorry, 2 months away technically.
Watch they drop it fucking the same time.
It actually
Cyberpunk
was
comes out.
supposed to come out around the same time Cyberpunk. It was one of the delayed games due
Yeah.
to the whole world. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sold on that 100%. I think the style is really fucking neat. I think they've done a really good job cleaning it up. I love that it's an older game, but it looks like it will translate to modern day in its gameplay. That they've added, customization options, 40 different variants or whatever. It's really fucking cool. Gameplay wise for multiplayer, it looks like it'd be a really fun cooperative game to play together. Something that we didn't get to do when we were younger, because I think you had to have the game on GameCube and then you had to have Game Boy Advance or something like that.
yeah, so it had 4-player local co-op, which
Yeah.
is gone now.
Yeah.
But yeah, you had to get a Game Boy Advanced adapter and use the Game Boy Advance as a controller because your menu and stuff was on the Game Boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Which is kind of an interesting thing back then. But yeah, we just didn't have the means to do that. Plus, I didn't like mobile gaming then. Don't like it now. Yeah, this game looks awesome. I'm really excited to fucking play it. Everything about that is really cool looking. I like that. It's essentially boss battles and then fighting a bunch of stuff, coordinating together, using magic, and a guy walking around with a giant sword, which is always a big selling point for me. But that crossplay, really fucking cool. I love that I could buy this on anything and be able to play it. I mean, I'd even be open to buying it on a console and then my phone. It said Android, so I'm fucking ready for that. And yeah, I don't know. I'm actually, my hype level on this is pretty high, honestly. Like, I really want this game now.
So that happened to me last night because I watched it last night and I was like, oh, cool. They have a trailer for it. And I watched it. First off, I was going to watch a reaction to it, but he warned he was going to talk over it. He's like, so I'd recommend people watch it first. I was like, okay, fine. And so I went and watched this one. And I was like, whoa, that's so much more than I was expecting.
Yeah.
So I went and watched his reaction. It was funny watching his face like light up as soon as it started playing because the charm is just so like intense and it's cleaned up really well.
Yeah, it's super clean looking. And it'll look really good on with those graphics being lowered but being cleaned up. It'll look really good on your phone with a smaller resolution. But I love that they're doing the light thing. You can try the game out and you can also play, like, you can get invested 13 missions in. You're going to know by then if you're going to want to pick it up or not.
Yeah.
So it's really smart, especially if you have a friend who's like, I don't know, like, just fucking try it then real quick.
This is Final Fantasy's version of taking the ring to Mordor. So
Pretty much, yeah. Overall, though, I'm really excited for this. This is day one buy for me as well, easily. So
yeah, it's just a matter of figuring out where I want to buy it because realistically, I think Switch, just because then I can play it anywhere.
Yeah. But you also buy it on your phone. Play it anywhere. Although I'm way more inclined to play it on a Switch than I am on my phone. Because even when I buy games on my phone, I just don't play them.
Yeah, my only concern is like how well it will run, because I know the Switch can have that problem sometimes. I know if I buy it on PS4, it's just going to work.
Yeah.
So I'm stuck playing at home then. So I don't know, kind of torn on that one, but I'll figure it out. Once it comes out, I'll probably try out the light version real quick just to see how it runs on the Switch, and then
that's a good plan.
And then just
I have played like 2 games that are on multiple consoles that I played on Switch and regretted because the frame rates were just so bad, or the load times. My time in Portia, where the fuck it's called. I own that on PC and Switch because I was like, oh, that'd be a cool game to kind of
runs
build.
pretty rough on PC sometimes too.
It runs rough on Switch though. It's a slower experience, and if it's the only way you could play it, it's playable. But if you play it on PC as compared to that, it's a huge difference.
Yeah.
To the point where like the load times are almost like not worth it to me.
You know what I'm bummed out about? So I'm going back to Crystal Chronicles.
No, it's fine.
In the original Crystal Chronicles, you got the like Moogles are like really fuzzy.
Yeah.
And you could paint their fuzz, like so you had a custom Moogle because you were like painting them. They didn't show that at all.
Yeah, they didn't. They just had that one sophisticated Moogle come out. I am a Moogle. Hello.
Well, and they threw one.
Yeah, that was fucked up. You shouldn't just grab a Moogle and throw them. It's a fucking living thing. I almost said a human being. It's not a human being. Do not misinterpret me.
Game's gonna be real confusing for Josh because Josh likes to play big buff things, and the buff things are really short in this game.
I don't know if Josh would even play this. I think he'd humor it for a split second, but I don't know if he'd come back.
Yeah.
Not speaking for Josh, he can let us know in the comments. I'm also really critical on Moogle design in games. I like the way they look in this. I think they're funny looking. Mm-hmm. They kind of remind me of like a koala, but less in like Final Fantasy VII remake. Because in Final Fantasy VII remake, they're kind of creepy looking.
Yeah, I agreed.
Like even when I saw them in the trailer, I was like,
it.
"What the fuck is that?" So sometimes they nail it, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
But
and you kind of brought it up too when you were talking about like the design of this game when we were kids. You're like, it doesn't look like Final Fantasy, blah 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 type thing, And the same thing with
much more critical when I was younger.
And as I've gotten older, I just realized that they're all definitely designed to be their own separate experiences. I mean,
well, there's also been more Final Fantasies released since then to now, so now the standard of it all is.
Well, even like
more
Chocobos.
open.
Chocobos in Final Fantasy 15 have those crazy like side feather like dreadlocks essentially. Mm-hmm. And then like Moogles and Tactics are really like skinny and like tall because they're beast race, or they're just another race in the world that you can play as. So I don't know. It's really interesting how many variations they managed to come up with and still keep the identity. So,
I love that in Final Fantasy there's a familiarity with almost everything. Everything's redone but different. So it's always different enough that it doesn't feel like you're just playing the same shit every time. But even if the worlds and the stories have nothing to do with each other, there's still a Final Fantasy familiarity.
For sure.
That I can't think of really any other property doing the same thing.
And definitely not to that extent. So.
Yeah, because that goes back to like early Final Fantasies up until the most modern ones. Mm-hmm. So it's like it's part of the identity. If you're a fan of Final Fantasy and you play Final Fantasy, you're gonna recognize so much while having so much you don't know what's gonna happen.
Exactly.
It's almost like that's why it's easy to be a fan of Final Fantasy, because there's always gonna be something there that is familiar and feels like home to you, while also offering brand new experiences like that. So
for sure.
It's really cool. Anyway, I'm definitely going to pick this up. I don't really have anything more positive to say on that. I'll be buying it first day, and I will probably pick it up on PS4 and maybe one of the mobile things. Maybe I'll spy them all on all 4. I don't know.
You have an iPhone.
It'd be useless. I might have an old iPhone somewhere. I don't know. Like an old fucking iPhone, 3 or whatever.
That won't run on?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll fucking figure it out. Anything else you want to say?
No.
Let us know in the comments what you guys think about Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered Edition new features trailer. Are you excited for it? Are you not excited for it? Did you play this game back in the day? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you not excited for this? Why aren't you excited for it? If you're going to pick this game up, what would you pick it up on? What's the strategy? You're going to pick it up on something that you can be mobile with, or you're going to play it at home? What do you think about the multiplayer aspect? What do you think about that Moogle and the way he talked? It was kind of weird. And yeah, let us know everything you're thinking about in the comments below. Last thing we're going to watch is Cyberpunk 2077 Night City Wire Episode 1. I'm going to remind you again, I have already reacted to this. So if you want to see my first reaction, make sure to go watch my stream. I hung out with the community. We talked about it at length, and it was a good time. But we are going to watch this. Chevy has not seen this, and we will discuss it. And yeah, anything you want to say before we jump into this? Are you still excited for Cyberpunk?
Yeah, though I'm getting to that point where I almost feel like maybe I'm getting too much advertising, and I'm sure once I watch it, I'll forget that thought. But I'm already sold, right? Mm-hmm. And so like the idea of just receiving more is almost like you're giving me too much now. I realize this game's probably going to be huge and replayable. So like it probably doesn't match up here. But like a good example is Square, for example, tends to, like, when Final Fantasy VII was coming out, they just started like throwing trailers out, and I got to a point where I was like, okay, I already know I want the game. I don't really need to watch these anymore. So
it got really bad with that game because that was a game I didn't want revealed anything to me. Luckily, we find out in this, spoiler alert for you a little bit, that pretty much all the footage we've seen is in the prologue of the game. Good. So they barely showed anything of the game. One thing I want to say as well too is like this game has been in like development since like the consoles came out, and it's gonna come out when the new consoles come out.
That's a long development cycle.
In that time, we got that original teaser, we got the 48-minute video, we got like 2 videos after that, and then we got this in like, what, 7 years or some shit? 6 years?
Yeah, but I think a lot of that feeling comes from 48-minute trailers unheard of.
Well, but one of the reasons I feel like that we haven't gotten any anything to fucking chew on really when they release stuff like this. It's rare, and they said after this is episode 1 of this Night City Wire, in a couple of weeks they said they're gonna show another thing. So we're getting to the point now where as the game is gonna actually possibly come out this year, hopefully we're gonna start getting more and more on it. But before that, I don't think we've seen a lot on this game, but we have on Twitter. If you're on social media, they release pictures and little blips about this game all the time.
Yeah.
A lot of the information that's been accumulated on this game has been through like these interviews that happen or these quick little screenshots they'll release on their Twitter that circulate the internet. A lot of hearsay. So Cyberpunk is in the conversation all the time, to the point where I do feel like it's almost too much. But when it comes to like the actual video stuff, I don't feel like we've really gotten a whole lot. 48 minutes was a lot, but that was a while ago.
Yeah,
that we watched that. And then they still never showed the shit I watched at E3, which is weird to me that they just didn't reveal that to anybody except for if you were there. They showed it in like little blips on one of the videos they put out. I think that was the last one, but like the amount of stuff I saw there, I'm like, show people that. It was fucking cool. Like it was just straight up somebody playing the fucking game.
Maybe that's why they don't want to show it.
Yeah, maybe. Because even in this, like they only show like little clips here and there, and even people's previews, they're not allowed to show you long clips. They're like, I can only show you like 5 seconds of this and 5 seconds of that and 5 seconds of that. So they're really being secretive, which I appreciate because it's a game I want to go into and just have my fucking adventure. I want to be the least influenced as possible on my decisions.
For sure.
So, yeah, ready?
Yes.
All right, let's jump into it. 3, 2, 1, and go.
Got chills already.
Hello
That's
and
stupid.
Welcome to this, the very first episode
I was freaking
of
out
Night
watching
City
this.
Wire, a brand new series from us at CD Projekt Red, where we'll be talking about all things Cyberpunk 2077.
Easily my most hyped game.
For today's episode, we'll be starting with a brand new trailer. One of our developers will be joining us to help unpack everything you're going to see. We'll have some news, an announcement about a secret collaboration. We'll be taking a look at some braindance gameplay and welcoming back our developers just to have a chat about everything you're going to see. But there is one more thing. Media all over the world have been getting hands-on with Cyberpunk 2077, and when this episode finishes, you'll be able to go and check out exactly what they thought. So, let's get started. It is time to take a look at our brand new trailer, and after that, our lead quest designer Pavel Sasko will be joining us because I've got a feeling you're going to have a few questions.
Pascal?
So,
little otter dude?
Why does this keep coming up?
I love this town.
God, it's so fucking realized.
Ready to get your cherry popped? Yeah, come on.
City like any other, just bigger.
No, mano. Not just any other city. Legends are born here.
The major leagues. We're only here because Dex is pulling the strings. Doubt that puts us in the same league as them.
But we are. They just don't know it yet. But if you got the cojones and you know how to use them, you could do damn near anything.
Unless you catch a bull.
I say this every time. It looks so good.
I was
You can make
trying to find a moment to
motivational speech.
say it, but
Yo, Mr. V.
they're setting a really high fucking bar.
Dex? You meant to come out in one piece? How about we go over the plan?
There's this prototype tech, a biochip to be precise. Jobs to grab it.
Guessing it belongs to a court.
Arasaka.
We're robbing some heavy hitters.
Thought you could blackmail me, fucker?
High risk, high reward. First rule of the afterlife.
Ka-ching, baby.
Specifically for
Goes
this
without saying,
genre, though,
we do this on
this
the
is such a
hush.
huge leap
Ideally,
in the
no
whole like
bodies, not a
open world
one.
RPG, choose your own adventure
Sounds simple
style.
enough.
Yeah.
Eat lead, assholes!
Is it gonna be dangerous?
Don't you worry, mi amor.
It's so weird seeing them come from
Get your ass moving now!
What the
fantasy
fuck just happened
Yep.
in there?
to this.
Stop digging Night City.
I wouldn't even know it was that.
It's just been crazy watching CD Projekt Red go from the original Witcher
Oh my
to
god, we're
this.
so fucked.
Because every game just gets better and better and better looking and better made.
Dex, what the fuck?
Can't risk it, V.
And
What the
you,
fuck are they gonna make
who are
next
you?
at this point? Like,
Something better.
Fuck.
Fuck.
So the trailer contains footage from the game's prologue only, but there was an awful lot in it. So Pavel, why don't you try and help us unpack everything that we just saw?
Oh yeah, I mean, absolutely, I can try. So, what you have just seen is only the prologue of the game. So that awesome stuff is only happening in the first few quests. What the trailer shows you is really our stage, the Night City. You know, this gigantic city
Which we
built
finally
of
saw at night.
6 completely unique districts, surrounded by the 7th one that we call the Badlands. As a player, you are meeting Jackie. Jackie's your friend. Now, they together are trying to reach out for something that is very precious. They're trying to reach out for this chip of immortality, this gateway to eternal life. Jackie introduces you to Fixer Dexter Deshawn. He's a very important person in a social ladder of Cyberpunk. He is able to provide the player with various jobs and contracts to be able to gather money, to be able to modify their body, push themselves to the limits, to put their hands
playing
on
this on pen and
things.
paper,
But, as you can
visualizing
expect,
things
not
based off
everything goes
clips
as
of
planned,
art you get to see in the
but to
books
see it,
and
you will
just
have to
like
play the
any
game.
side research you're doing
There
your
are an
own,
awful lot of
and then
really
watching
cool
them
things in this trailer.
make
There's a few that I would
a
just love to
fully
talk about
nail
a
it,
little bit more
realized
for the
world,
people
and
at
it
home.
looks
So let's start with talking about
like
gang
it.
photos.
It's
Now,
authentic
we
as
see
shit
a few
looking.
It's
flashes of them in
insane.
this trailer. I personally think they're really cool and one of my favorites, but can you give us a little bit more information about them?
Oh yes, so the Mogs is one of the gangs that player is going to interact
One thing's
with.
nice too is
So
fucking
the
this
Mogs
game has
is
been
the
worked on
gang
for a
that
long
has been
time.
formed in 2017.
And that can either make or break a
After
game. But you
death
see
of,
this, and it
Elizabeth
looks like
Gordon,
they've been working
she
on it
was
for a long
called
time.
Liz.
Yeah.
Now she was an owner of a brothel. And
I'm also
former
so
sex
happy
worker,
that they're
and
like
she
not
was
afraid to just
protecting working
let it
guys
be
and girls from
grungy and
harassment
dingy
from
because that's
abuse,
like
and
it's
the
a
gang
gross
really
world to be in.
Drugs,
like-
sex, nudity,
As a player, you're
crime,
going to
fucking,
interact with that gang, meet multiple different NPCs,
you know, hyper
and
violence.
craft your own relationship with them and understand what they are all about.
So earlier on, you did mention a 7th district, a place called the Badlands. Now, we saw a few shots of this in the trailer, but I'd love for you to give us a bit more detail about the district outside of the city walls.
Okay, so the Badlands is this like dead, dried out space going around the whole Night City. And as a player, you'll be able to traverse that space in your car or motorcycle.
I said, look at the
This is
fucking
a
car
space that
even,
is
with all the
inhabited
shit
by
that's just,
nomads.
like,
Nomads are living in a different
put in
families,
there.
and they're traveling across that space.
Yeah, every
in
vehicle has
convoys
like
made out of the
detailed
cars and
interiors and
motorcycles.
shit.
And as a player, you'll be able to traverse and access different type of open world content that has been.
When I play a game like this, I
prepared
expect like a
specifically for you
Bethesda
to
game
get
where
that
everyone's just stiff
awesome
moving
feeling
and turning their head like,
Badlands
hello,
tonight.
stranger.
In the trailer, we also
combat
saw
chest,
like, a
stuck
completely
on a
metal
post.
creature. Now, he didn't look like he
Swinging
was from the
and-
Maelstrom gang. This looked like something else. So
Not this kind of like
just tell the
fucking
people at home, who
detailed,
is this
mocap,
giant
visceral
metal monster?
storytelling.
Okay, so that big dude, that was Adam Smasher. He has been introduced in pen and paper in Cyberpunk 2020 by our senpai Mike Pondsmith.
Senpai.
Smasher is a fully converted cyborg. He was always a loyalist of Arasaka. And time has changed, and in 2077 he had to find his own space.
Adam Smasher's no bullshit. That guy's scary.
But to find out, you'll have to play the game.
In this trailer, we do see
scary that he was a
flashes
person
of
and now he's
Ripper
just a
Doc
fucking
called Victor
robot.
Vector.
Yeah,
If people have
essentially.
watched our previous gameplays, they might remember him. But I'd
No
really like
humanity.
you to give the people at home some more information about what Ripper Docs are and how they'll be interacting with them when they play Cyberpunk.
I don't know if I'm mixing up my games or not, but
Ripper Docs
it was
in
either
our game,
Cyberpunk
they
or
are surgeons.
Shadowrun
They
that
are
had
like a specific type of a
you could run out of
job
humanity
in
by
the
having too much.
social ladder of
Maybe it's
Cyberpunk.
both. It's been a long time.
Seems
since
like
I-
a
And specialized in
a thing that's in a lot of those
replacing
games,
Yeah.
though.
Too much
to the
machine, not
metal
enough
ones.
human.
They can basically
Yeah.
update your body, enhance your body.
I thought
change you
Cyberpunk
into
that
this
people
walking
fucking
war machine.
I forget what it's
And,
called, but they could
as a
like
player,
freak
you're
out
going to meet
if they
different kind of Ripper
became
Dogs
more
in the
machine.
game, craft your own
Yes, yeah, I
relationship
think
with
that's what I'm
them. Some of
talking
them
about. I
are,
think it's both
like,
games.
important
Like I said, it's been
characters
such a long
for a
time since I
story.
played the
Because in the
With that,
original
we'll
teaser, it
invest,
showed that girl who was
edits
like going
that
on,
we'll gather
like fucking
to
killing people and
turn
shit.
your
And
body
those,
into this tool that allows
Yeah,
you
with
to
the blade arms or
survive in
whatever.
yeah,
the
and the
streets
cops
of
had like
Night
come in and fucking take
Hal,
care of her.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much for joining us. I know you'll be back later in the episode because you're going to be helping us to analyze the Braindance gameplay. But before that, we do have some news to share. Earlier in the year, we announced that if you pick up Cyberpunk 2077 on Xbox One, you'll be able to play it on Xbox Series X when the console launches. And just in case you missed it, it will be the same for PlayStation players as well. If you pick up Cyberpunk 2077 on PlayStation 4, you'll also be able to play it on PlayStation 5 when the console launches. And that's not all. There will be a free upgrade for Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, but we'll have more details on that soon.
Tonight City.
Before we reveal our first look at the
That's great
Braindance
for console
gameplay
players.
and welcome back our developers
not a
for
game I'm
chat,
playing on console,
there
though.
is just one more
Yeah.
thing we want to announce. Something that we've been working on in secret for a while. We are very excited to announce our partnership with Studio Trigger
Oh,
and
yeah.
Netflix to bring you Cyberpunk Edgerunners, a standalone anime set in the Cyberpunk universe, which we've been working on for some time now. Edgerunners is due to launch in 2022, but for some more information, let's
Hopefully
go to the team in
early
Tokyo.
2022.
Hi, my name is Saya Elder. I am the Japan-based producer for Cyberpunk Edgerunners. What I do basically on this project is that I am a fixer, to put it in the words of the Cyberpunk universe. We are a game company. We are a bunch of nerds, and wherever there are nerds, there's going to be anime fans. So it was always a dream for us to make anime. When we began this project, we were certain that we didn't want to make a recreation of the game. Cyberpunk Edgerunners is a standalone story set in the same universe. The stage is still Night City, but everything else is totally new. New characters, new story. I do like to think that it's going to be a great gateway for newcomers to come and check Cyberpunk game and also the Cyberpunk genre as a whole.
As far as they didn't release this
Right now
before
we're
the
in
release of the game,
Nakano,
though.
which
Right.
is one of the biggest anime meccas of the world. I'm going to take you to Studio Trigger right now because we have the wonderful opportunity to talk to the dream team that will be bringing you this anime.
こんにちは。トリガーの代表取締役の大塚です。
監督の今石です。キャラクターデ
It's
ザイン
funny,
を
they
担当
live
す
stream
る吉成です。
and they just
ゲーム
draw.
のサイバーパンク
Oh,
の
really?
ファン
Yeah.
でした。
That's cool.
今回初めて触れる方両方に満足していただけるように
Just showing
アニメ
Like, no matter what anyone does, you can just stream it now.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's just so connected. It's weird. It's fucking Cyberpunk.
一ファン
Oh, yeah.
しか過ぎなかった頃に生まれたジャンル、そういうジャンルのものをまた
Kill in the
安心
background.
して作れるというのが非常に楽しみです。
And that's when it kind of dawned on me in the stream. I was like, oh, yeah, it's them.
監督に今石、キャラクターデザインに吉成というトリガーの最強の夫人で、
Yeah, and they're definitely not
トリガー10
embarrassed
周年
to
に
be
ふさわしい作品に
hypersexual either.
していきたいと
So
思います。お楽しみに。
Yeah. I mean, Japan in general.
yeah,
Ain't no Sony fucking getting
Now
weird about
it's time
side
to show
boob.
you some gameplay of Braindance. This is a
But
feature
allowing
that
fucking
you'll
Last of Us Part 2
experience
having
when you play
full-on
Cyberpunk
sex scenes.
2077.
they're going to be allowing these guys to do whatever the hell they want
Braindance
to.
is
So
essentially a recording of
Are
somebody
they?
else's experience.
they're going to have
It
to.
allows you to relive
hope
their
so.
sense of sight, smell,
Conan, there ain't no
touch,
fucking
and
genitals.
even hearing, all
I don't know
thanks to a special
if
device.
Funcom has the buying
I will
power.
be
There
welcoming
shouldn't
back
be.
Pavel
There
Sastre.
shouldn't be a
I will also
fucking
be
tier
joined by
system.
Patrick
I agree.
Mills, our
Everyone
senior
should be able to do it, or
quest
nobody
designer
should.
and all-round
I agree.
lore master, who will be helping to answer your questions and give you some explanation on how you'll be interacting with Braindance when you play Cyberpunk 2077. So, let's take a look.
Bro, I brain dance on the
Plan simple.
regular.
Do nothing odd. Don't get creative. You go in, snatch the cash, get out. And we sell the BD to those psycho freaks from the studio.
Got it.
And remember, everything on full blast.
That was awesome.
Okay, on you go.
I am so blown away by the character interaction with your character.
Well, this isn't your character.
Everybody, on the ground. What I see you kissing the flooring. Money, now, or I will fucking drop you. I swear to God. Well, yeah, hey, now, before I blow your fucking head off. Ah!
Slow, deep breaths. Your cortisol and adrenaline spiked, but the soft activated your hormone blockers. Nothing happened. You're alive and well.
That was too much. Could feel the guy's pain, his stress, his hope. Hope wrapped up in something else.
Mm-hmm. Probably took a booster just before. You'll be fine.
Got those character models.
Got everything set up? Let's switch over to editing mode.
Yeah, the world's great looking, but even the character models are just fantastic looking.
There's also individual and unique.
I'll sever the
So
link
impressed.
to the BD Roller's sensory array. You'll be able to look around freely. Whole scene's yours.
Yeah, I'd expect this kind of detail. I say this all the time. If I expect this kind of detail from a single-player linear game, and obviously this is gonna be single-player when it first comes out, but like linear experiences, you can put way more work into this kind of shit.
Yeah.
Whereas when you start making an open-world game, it gets harder to put that much resources and assets into every little thing because you have a bigger scale of development.
Right.
Don't get creative. You go in, snatch the cash, get out. And we sell the BD to those psycho freaks from the studio.
Got it.
Dream as hell, right? Well, that's not all. You can speed things up or rewind, whatever you like. Give it a try. Rewind, roll it back to the top. All good, neat. Now try fast forwarding a bit.
Plan simple. Do nothing odd. Don't be creative. You go in, snatch the cash, get out.
Okay. You can also reset the recording. That'll take you right back to the beginning. Try it. Now for some fun. This here's why you came in the first place. In analysis mode, you get to view and even scan details of the enviro recorded by the BD roller. Focus on the heat, the gun this gonk gets from his buddy at the beginning. Now scan it.
Plan simple. Do nothing odd. Don't get creative. You go in, snatch the cash, get out. And we sell the BD to those psycho freaks from the studio. And remember,
Okay, right here. Excellent. Let's move on. Now heads up. In analysis mode, you can ferret out background noise and conversations if the roller got close enough. This tech records everything, every little detail, even the sights and sounds the roller was never aware of. To see the sources of the recorded sensory signals, switch to the audio layer in the editor. Go ahead and try that now. Okay, good. Now you should see several sound signatures in the store. Choose one and hone in on it.
Pack of 6, case of Brosif, and a couple of zappers.
Okay, we have a deal today on 2 flavors. Cuddy and surf and turf. Everybody, on the...
So, any thoughts?
Unbelievable. Seriously, like what's happening right next to me.
Yeah, it's how BD recording implants work. They pick up everything, all
Kinda
the
weird.
elements in the background. Then an editor tweaks them, makes them pop. Keep
It's
playing
almost
with
like
the
a
sound, explore it a bit.
Quantic Dreams
We'll move
experience.
on when you get bored.
Yeah, it's funny. Everybody kind of says different things when it comes to this. But like Batman, the Arkham games have stuff like this. Quantic Dream. in the stream, somebody brought that up, talking about how it kind of reminded them of the investigation parts of
Like what?
Detroit.
Yeah.
But also kind of reminds me of like the way it's telling a past story almost, or an event that happened. Reminds me of like the Division Echo locations on a way bigger scale.
Yeah.
But yeah, because those you just kind of watch people stand there and talk to each other. But in this, you're actually like investigating it, which is kind of cool. Although in previews, this seems to be everybody's least favorite part of the game. But they're doing it in the prologue, so I feel like it's because it's part of the tutorial. I think it might be a little more interesting when you don't have someone instructing you on how to do it, and you're just actually investigating it on your own. I think it'll be a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
Here it comes. My favorite part of the game. See the blinking thing over the entrance? Surveillance cam. Must have caught our shooter. You'll see in a sec. Cam feeds to the screen behind the clerk. Roll back to where the screen's in the kid's field of vision, then scan it. His own Chumba shot him. Probably planned to all along. Must have got a nice slice of cred on the black market for a BD like this. BD freaks are ready to pay a preem for a real flatline. Anyway, if you've seen enough,
There's also people saying, it's like one of them I watched said that the game doesn't hold your hand when it comes to like terminology and stuff. It just puts you in the game, in that world, which I like immersion-wise.
Yeah, I remember them saying something about that even when the game was in early development.
Yeah.
That they wanted it to be authentic, so
Braindance is a
you were going to
pretty
have to
big
learn the
part
language.
of the Cyberpunk universe. It's not just something used for adult films. There is an awful lot to it. And there's two sides I'd really like you guys to help me explore. First is the lore, so how this actually fits into the universe, and then there's the gameplay side, so how players will be interacting with it. So Patrick, could you tell us more about the lore of Braindance?
I would love to. So in the world of Cyberpunk 2077, Braindance was invented way back in the early 2000s at UC Santa Cruz. It was developed as a way of recording a person's experiences and then playing them back for someone else so that they could relive them as though it was happening to them. It was originally used for things like therapy and prisoner rehabilitation, but by 2077, it's become this global media industry, including things like movies, mass entertainment, things like that, video games, some interactive things, and of course, adult fare as well. Now, in our game, we deal a lot with black brain dances, or XBDs as we call them, and there are different types of those, but the one that you saw in the trailer just there was a flatliner. Now, that's where the person recording it actually dies during the recording.
I didn't notice the first time, but Pavel, the guy to his right, every time he says like terminology, he just always like, like he's just like making sure he's got the information right. Like that's right.
Trying to figure out the best way how to use the Braindance in the game as a mechanics. So what we have settled on is this Braindance editor mode. As a player, you will be able to run the Braindance in the editor mode and see different clues that have been registered on the peripheral of given actor. Now, as a player, you can slide on the timeline of the recording back and forth, trying to uncover different clues. And that clues are actually telling a story in the game. So as a player, you will run different investigations that will lead you to different mysteries, and you will uncover them actually using that Braindance as a mechanics in the game.
So as Pavel was saying, we use Braindance as a storytelling tool. It's not a collectible. It's not something where you're going to go in and you're going to play it and you're going to be like, I've seen this before. What we use Braindance for is to give you a keyhole into the life of the residents of Night City. And we can explore things like childhood trauma, religion, various philosophical ideas in a way that you might not otherwise experience in a story about a mercenary on the tough streets.
So we've tried to talk about some of the aspects that we think the community will find really exciting, but you know, while you're both here, I'd love to know, what is it about Cyberpunk that you guys are really excited for? Patrick, why don't you start?
So one of the things that I'm most excited about in this game is the characters and the way they interact with the world. We've got this really interesting world that stretches all the way back to the Cyberpunk 2020 source material and all of these events and all of those things, but those don't mean anything unless they connect with characters. And so when we come up with a character, we start with their function. What is this person? What do they do in the story? But we don't stop there. We go back and we figure out what was their childhood like, what was their upbringing like, what kind of obstacles did they face in this harsh reality, and did they overcome them, and how did they overcome them, or did they not overcome them, and why?
I like how much work they
And
put
you
into
can
the
see
lore
all
of
those
individual
things
NPC
in
characters.
their environment,
That's
in their
fucking cool.
dialogues, in
Yeah, I
sort of
mean,
how
that-
they
that
operate
just-
in the world. And
You know,
we
it's
come up
in
with
addition
that
to
for
like
all of
earlier
our
where I was like, I
characters.
love how
And
they're
you
all
look at
so
someone like
unique.
Victor Vector,
That was very
and
intentional.
You're gonna see stories about his past in his environment and in his dialogue. You know, we come up with that stuff even if we don't use it in the game, because it helps inform us as to who these characters are.
And for me, I would not be myself if I would not say that I'm the most excited about our quests. Like with our Witcher 3 team, with Patrick and like everybody that has
Witcher 3
stayed
is
with us
such good
since
side
the Witcher
quests.
3 time, we really have grown so much. We have learned so much, and we have used all that experience to put them into the quest that we have made. And you will not
Get
find
away.
really a filler in this game. Like everything has a meaning. Like we put so much effort into making sure that everything is rewarding, is interesting, is talking about characters, as Patrick said, is talking about worlds, is talking about emotions, like touching the player in a really, like a real way. And I just can't wait to find out what you think.
Pavel, I know you mentioned story and quests and writing quests, and when I was last in the studio, I had a look and I saw a notebook on your desk, and I would love for you to show everybody this notebook.
Okay, Holly, I mean, you asked for it. So this is
As
my
if you
notebook.
weren't prepared.
This is
Mhm.
salsa
And it's
quest
just sitting
designer.
there with them all of a sudden.
The reason is because I dance salsa, and I'm a quest designer, so you know. So I started this notebook actually when we were really starting Cyberpunk. At the very beginning, I wrote like a first note, and it says pretty much something along the lines of that we were starting with a prototype. And then, you know, I kept on basically noting things that we've been working on for like next years. I remember once when our concept artists actually approached me, and they said that they want to take a look on my notebook. I was like, what for actually? And they took some pictures, and they told me, yeah, well, you know, because we are looking for a reference material for notes of a psychopathic killer. Yeah, well, you may find maybe some of my notes in the game.
Pavel and Patrick,
Damn.
thank you so
That dude
much
was
for
writing.
joining me. I'm pretty
Fucking
lucky because I have read some of the stories that you and the team have written for Braindance, and I'm pretty excited for people to discover them. But before we do finish today's episode, there is just one more thing we'd like to talk about. Earlier in this episode, I mentioned that media have been getting hands-on with the opening of Cyberpunk 2077, and they should be posting their impressions right about now. And if you missed anything from today's episode, don't worry, we'll be uploading everything to our channels very soon. And finally, on behalf of everybody at CD Projekt Red, we just want to say thank you so much for joining us for this, the very first episode of Night City Wire. But don't worry, we'll be back with episode 2 in just a few weeks. So, we shall see you soon.
Stadia. I
Why
can't
not?
wait to play Cyberpunk 2077 on Google Stadia. What'd you think?
That was awesome. Most of the time I spend on these things, I'm not actually paying attention to like the gameplay stuff so much as I am just like completely blown away that like visually it exists. I already like, especially like watching where they do like the clips, you know, back to back of like small little blips of gameplay where you get to see a lot of like the gunplay and stuff like that. And from the 48 minute video we watched before, I already know it's gonna play well, so I'm not like super worried about that. I am definitely excited where they keep showing us all these things that you can do in the game. So like you get, you know, they originally were like, oh yeah, you can do combat, you can do stealth, you can do hacking, blah blah. It's like, okay, cool, you're getting the whole pen and paper thing. And then they're like vehicles and conversation options, and now this brain dance system. And it just seems like they're really trying to bring that like do what you want experience to this. And that's like super exciting. It's also kind of nerve-wracking because I struggle with that in games, but this is a game I know I'm not going to care about getting lost into. In fact, I fully intend to just kind of like wander and not really care how long it takes me to play it. So
Yeah, it's something I've been saying is like in this game I'm going to be taking my time, just kind of taking in the fucking game because the amount of detail and the amount of work they put into it, like it'd be such a waste to not. And then one of the people I watched that was doing one of the previews was like, I was like barely holding the stick, just kind of walking and just looking at everything, stuff like that. So it's interesting to hear people who have already played it saying the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So just with the amount of work they put into it.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be one of those games like you don't get this very often, so like there's no reason to rush it. And if I've learned anything from people who make these type of calibers of games, where you have your Witcher 3, your Grand Theft Auto, people continue to play them over the course of like a decade. So like you have plenty there to do.
Yeah, I think this game will be the new standard for this genre, and I think people will be playing it for fucking years.
Well, and then they're going to add stuff to it too.
They're going to add expansions and multiplayer shit.
Yeah.
So by the time that Trigger anime comes out, this game will probably still be fucking being supported.
For sure.
So it won't be, irrelevant.
I really hope, and I don't have a lot of worries about it because I have a lot of faith in the company so far because they haven't really shown otherwise yet.
Yep.
But the multiplayer is just icing on the cake, man. Because like the one thing I wanted from playing this whole game was like, man, it'd just be cool to be able to have that pen and paper experience. Obviously, for linear storytelling reasons, I like the single player experience, but I want just let me go through Night City with some friends and just do random shit and just try to get rich. Essentially, like I'm totally fine with that experience.
They should literally do what fucking Rockstar does with Grand Theft Auto 5 and fucking Red Dead Redemption, and just allow you to do in-universe multiplayer story driven missions.
Yeah.
With maybe your character from the single player make a new character for multiplayer. Nobody's gonna be opposed to that. Everybody's gonna be making different characters, like more than one character in this game.
I'm gonna have a hard time not to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I can't see people going, oh man, I can't play my character, but even if you could play your character, that'd be cool too. And then just do random missions in the city. It'd be such a waste to not utilize the whole city with friends. So I think that'd be really cool, and that it would just be awesome to be able to see each other and the characters they made, stuff like that, because the customization of this game is gonna be crazy. I was already kind of telling you, but like I was reading things saying there's like 6 different types of pubic hair that you can choose from, different kinds of fucking dicks that you can pick from, different shapes, different sizes, different nipple types, and like if they're putting that much work into even just that.
Yeah.
They got to be putting a lot of work into everything else, unless that's where all the budget went, and you have like 3 face options.
That'd be a weird focus at that point.
All the nipple types you could ever want. But so with that kind of customization, outside of even what you're wearing, the game's just begging to fucking let you play with other people and their their characters and how they built them, just like pen and paper. I mean, obviously that's just all mental, but you're having the same experience in that sense.
Yeah, you spend most of pen and paper hanging out.
Yeah.
And then you do missions and stuff, obviously, but a lot of that is just like talking.
Kind of like Divinity Original Sin 2.
Yeah.
You do a lot of dialogue, a lot of standing around, planning shit, and then you get into combat, and it's like a fucking long, drawn-out process. It's an event. It's not like, oh, you just killed the guy, it's over.
Well, and especially because combat doesn't have to be combat in a lot of these. It could be a battle of wits. It could be a battle of stealth. I mean, there's a lot of different ways, and the game's definitely embracing that, and I really appreciate that because, one of the archetypes I really like playing in these type of games is I always like the idea of that, like the hacker person. I don't always want to be like the combat guy in games. Even when we were playing a little bit of Divinity, I don't want to get too into that because we're gonna have a show coming out soon.
Very
guys
soon
on that. But I liked the idea of maybe having someone who's just really good at conversation more so than combat, because if the system allows for it, I think that can still be a lot of fun, just like essentially getting your way without violence.
Well, it gives you another route to complete your mission, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, 100%. It's choices is what it is, really. And it's nice to kind of get out of that me smash mode, in games, because all games offer that.
And that kind of actual freedom, some people will dabble with it, but it's more like pre-planned alternate route. But in a game that truly allows you to go through in a combative way or in a diplomatic way or a hacker way or stealth way, it allows for everybody not only to be playing the game and play their style, their character, their choices, but to also have stories that will be different. Because there's so many games that like I can tell people want to have these individual stories. They'll come up to be like, "Oh, I did this, blah blah, blah," in the game. I'm like, "Yeah, I did too."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, there's that and one of their options." So, and the other ones seem kind of stupid. And so, a game that truly lets you do this stuff, it's kind of more rare than it should be. So, I also like it. I like the idea of being able to go through a scenario. And again, I'm not going to talk about too much, but like in Divinity Original Sin 2, it does allow you to fucking go through scenarios in all sorts of different ways. I do find myself opting into just hitting people a lot if it's not going well, because I get annoyed with people easy.
It's your Civ 6 mentality.
Pretty
again.
much, yeah.
Like,
I go diplomatic until someone starts talking shit, and then I'm like, nope, fuck you, it's over. You don't know who you're talking to. We were gonna have a conversation. Things start talking shit, and I know this whole time I can fucking steamroll you. You fucked up.
I think between this though and Baldur's Gate 3, there's going to be a lot of like pen and paper gameplay to be had.
Yeah.
So
I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a good time to be a fan of that type of game anyways, and with the type of companies working on these projects, it's awesome.
It's fucking like rock stars of the fucking industry are working on these two games.
Yeah.
Like Larian's not up there with CD Projekt Red, but they're on the same trajectory, same route. CD Projekt Red was going through. Yeah. It's crazy. Both these devs are just like started at a point, people appreciated it, and then they eventually built something. Witcher 2, Witcher 3, fucking Divinity, Original Sin 2, Original Sin. Both those games were like, people were like, holy shit, these guys are really good. And now they're getting their fucking like mainstream moment of like Baldur's Gate 3. It's a fucking sequel to a legendary series. It looks amazing. It's not going to get attention. And then Cyberpunk is like the fucking biggest hyped game this year. So
I'd say in the last like
5 years,
easily.
yeah, 10 maybe. It's an event, 100%. 2 questions. What do you think about the brain dance, and what kind of character are you going to want to build?
I like the idea of the brain dance, but I also like the idea, like I said, of having just that full immersion aspect of being able to have whatever systems that fit your type of gameplay. The game doesn't have to be action 100% of the time, man. Like, just live in it. Yeah. So I'm okay with that, and I think the way they're handling it, it looks like you can easily spend a lot of time doing it, especially because you can rewind, you can turn the camera around, you can interact with other objects while it's paused.
Well, in a game that's like when the game specifically it's like a linear game, or maybe a game that's just more so based around like it's an action game, and then it makes you do something like that, it fucks the pacing up. Whereas a game like this, you're spending time making your character, you're spending time putting your skill points, allocating, fucking picking your gear, fucking doing all this shit, doing missions that are going to be like heavily story oriented, hanging out in this,
so much dialogue,
driving to different locations, doing all this stuff that's just going to be like all this living stuff, that doing something like that isn't necessarily going to take away from anything, because it's just another thing. Like, this isn't a game, not that every game you're going to play is going to be like you're in a rush, but certain games are just, their pacing is just like go forward, just fucking go to the next area, kill the dudes that are going to attack you, beat them. Okay, cutscene. Okay, next scene, you better fucking jump and do all the stuff, and then kill the next guys coming up. Whereas this is like, within the genre, it makes sense. Do what the fuck you want, and then do the main quest. But like, so when you're doing stuff like this, it makes sense. The only thing I hope about this is I hope that for the most part, I feel like in the main story, it will probably be forcing you a couple times, but I hope this is something you can just kind of opt into for the people who don't want to do the brain dance stuff.
For sure.
But hopefully it's worth it. Obviously, if you're into lore or story, stuff like that, it would make sense to want to do all these. But also, I can imagine doing one of these brain dance sequences and finding a code to a fucking door or something like that in a mission that you're going to be doing soon.
Or some corpo's paying you to like figure out what happened to some chip one of their guys had, and you have to go through the footage and find out that there was some dude who pickpocketed him or something like that. Like, that's real simple.
Well, that makes sense on a story though, but what I'm saying is like, there's a benefit of like, maybe there's a door later that the mission's going to come up to that you might overlook if you didn't go through that.
Yeah.
But then if you watch that, you go, oh shit, this is that fucking door. And then you put in the thing, or, maybe you didn't spec as a hacker type character. But maybe if you did, you do that mission, you didn't watch this, and you still are able to get into it. Like, all these different ways and routes to do things. Hopefully there's like rewarding parts outside of just the story that these will offer.
Right. For sure.
Or maybe you see a guy in the video in the background, and then you see him in real life, and you're like, oh shit, that's that guy from that fucking thing.
Well, and I'm sure they've come up with like tons of applications for it to be useful. Hopefully, it's not just only like just to see something.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for sure. Well, because I've talked to people who are least excited about that part, the brain dance thing, and some people don't want to do it at all. And I hope there's a way for them to not have to do it. I mean, if there's a story part in the main story that you have to do it, it makes sense. But if you have to do it all the time, it'd be nice if you could just like not opt out of it, do the same mission, not need any of that information. But if you have it, maybe it just expands on it more, makes it.
I'm sure it's just going to make your intel gathering easier. So instead of being forced into a situation where like someone's like, you don't know what you're talking about, and they pull a gun on you. You have that information now because you opted in to do this. So, but that's still a choice at that point. So, yeah. And as far as like character I would make, I have no idea still because I really kind of want to just like, I guess it'll be more of an in the moment thing for me. I probably, my first playthrough will go with something kind of safe that is combat savvy with some other skills. But I think playing it additional times, I'll want to do something less capable in combat and more capable in other things just to play around with the systems more. I don't know yet. I have to see how like that part works when I get it in my hands.
Yeah, it's hard because we don't know what the game will offer in that regard. They've said what it will offer, but we don't know how much of that's just wording and how much of it's actual, like,
Well, we might be seeing that with further episodes of this too. They might start actually expanding on the system.
I'd love
because that's what this was. They were showing off a system.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they showed a new trailer and then they showed off Brain Dance. Hopefully, in the upcoming one, they'll give more of a deep dive into character development and how you can interact with the world. That'd be cool. If I can, I want to make a more like silenced pistol, silenced SMG, stealth type character that has things that allow for me to sneak better. Maybe some kind of, I don't know what's available, but something to be able to sneak around, make less noise, crawl through fucking vents and shit like that. But I also really like agility too. When they showed that original trailer where it showed the person jump on the wall and jump off with the fucking blades, I want to do that.
Yeah,
I want to do that with a fucking silenced pistol and have those blades. I want to rely on the element of surprise and shit. But then in this game too, specifically what I saw at E3 when it showed somebody go through a scenario in 3 different ways. Walking through just fucking unloading on people also looks awesome. Because you're like grabbing people and using them as a fucking human shield and shit, ripping fucking turrets off and unloading into people and stuff like that, and just taking rounds, and it's pretty fucking dope looking.
For
specifically with the visual style of this game, and just watching bullets fly and fucking shells and shit flying around and things like ripping up. It's cool looking, but at the same time, like I just know my play style. I like kind of a master of nothing, like just a good all around. I like characters like that, but I typically like agility in games. I like to be able to move a lot. So
I do think, and I'm not usually a big fan of this in games. This is to bring up Josh again, which is kind of weird.
Josh come up a lot.
I do find myself wanting to attempt hand to hand in this game as well.
Yeah,
because in a game where you can have augmentations to improve, to make that actually like something that could just floor people in one punch and stuff like that. That seems fun. So.
Yeah, and I haven't seen a whole lot on the melee combat, like when it comes to weapons, but they've talked about that. If you can run with a fucking katana, I'm gonna want to do that.
Oh
bad.
yeah, 100%.
Want to do
That's
that?
Gonna
bad.
be hard not to want to do.
Yeah. To run with like a pistol and a fucking katana for like distance, and then fucking slice people up at close range would be so sick. But I did see in that footage that they never fucking showed. Someone walk in a room, start punching a person, and they start getting boxed back, and then they looked over and there was a bottle, and they were able to grab the bottle, and they fucking hit the person, and then start stabbing them in the chest, then hit him in the throat, and killed him.
That's wild.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it. And I saw that, I was like, that's fucking sick.
Yeah.
And they still haven't really showed anything like that anywhere else. And I'm like, is that going to be in the game? Because when I saw that, I was like, they're playing. It wasn't like a cutscene.
Right.
They just walked around, started hitting a dude, and fucking grabbed the ball, and boom, start stabbing him. I was like, if that's if you're like a melee build,
You can just interact with
hand
the
to
world.
hand, and you can like fucking just grab shit while you're fighting. That's awesome. Who's
Yeah.
not going to want to play like that? You're not just because everything they show just keeps showing them walk up, go, and that's cool. It's cool that there's hand to hand combat. But when I saw him grab an environmental thing, I was like,
yeah,
that'd be so sick if you just grab shit and fight with it.
Oh yeah, no, that's. I mean, like I said, that's very wild. Like, because you could just essentially, you're fighting like people do, just desperately. Ugh.
Well, imagine you got like a katana in your back, you're fucking in dialogue, get into a fight, they punch a couple times, you fucking grab something, hit them, and then pull your sword out and start slashing through people and shit. Like, that would be so cool. And there's not a lot of games that do stuff like that. Closest thing to that even kind of exists, and it's not even that, is like in The Last of Us Part 2, the melee combat's pretty fucking good. You're like slamming people up against walls and fucking stabbing them and shit, and like
I remember even
breaking windows
out.
out and
First
shit.
game to get people to stop for a moment, you could throw bricks in their faces and stuff like that. So, yeah, that would be way too fun to be able to just essentially be a walking tank at that point.
Yeah,
so,
it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Just build up your characters like fucking hand-to-hand combat and like
resistance
like that, and just walk through and start beating people's ass and shit. I mean, that'd be sick.
That'd be a blast.
And especially like, I don't know how augmented we can get in this game. I hope there is some kind of humanity level to it. But like when you see that one dude, I forgot his name, something Smasher, or
the cyborg.
Yeah, when you see something like that, I'm like, can you make a character that fucking crazy? That'd be insane if you could be like a crazy cybernetic thing, but maybe lose your ability to talk to people as well. Mm-hmm. Because nobody's gonna look and go, hey, that guy's fucking friendly. They're gonna go, ooh, you're the type of guy who kills people.
Yeah.
They walk in a room and start murdering people.
That's your only existence now.
Yeah, and it'd be cool to be able to go down that route of having like a like even those guys they talk to in that one video where their heads are fucking mechanical and shit. They're barely people anymore. Like, and then when people are like, oh, let's talk to those fucking cyber freaks, the goddamn blah blah blah. Like, there's a social aspect to how far you go with this shit.
Yeah.
And it'd be really cool if your character can go that far. And I really hope they haven't shown anything like that, but they've barely shown the fucking game. I hope you can go that deep into making your character.
Also, too, mostly
over
just
time.
because it is supposed to be like your story. Like, you are obviously playing the same role everyone else is playing, and I'm sure the story kind of has like a point you get to.
It'd just be cool that you make your character, and by the end of the game, maybe you don't look the same anymore.
Yeah.
You've added
I mean, it's your
augments.
journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking sick.
That would be cool.
I mean, if you can change it so you have
that's what
blades in your
Fable should
arms.
have done.
Yeah, for sure. They tried.
Well, sure, and the limitations of the time it came out.
Yeah.
So,
anything else the trailer that you were particularly interested in?
I can't. I just can't get over the visuals, man. Like, I seriously am so in love with the way the world looks.
Me too. Yeah. I mean, we're fans of the genre anyway, so just seeing it done this well is a treat.
For sure.
Apparently the driving, I've heard from multiple sources. Some people said it feels kind of like they need to fix it. Someone else said it felt great. So
that was kind of a thing I was curious about, because I know early when they actually started talking about the game, so after the teaser, and then they were like, okay, we're actually working on the game, they hired tons of vehicle people.
Yeah.
Like tons. So obviously they were like, we don't do this. We need people who know this stuff. So
Well, just like the shooting, I guess. They had somebody come in who I think it was like a pro CSGO player or something like that. I don't remember. But come in to help with the first person aspect of it. And another preview I watched, they were saying that the shooting feels good. So
I mean, it looks good.
That's good for me to hear, just because when I think of a fucking RPG with guns in it, I always think the gunplay is going to be second to the RPG element, which is fine because it's an RPG.
Mass Effect 1.
But yeah, but it never feels good as like a shooter fan. I'm like, if this isn't a fucking shooter I would go and enjoy the combat of, I more so enjoy the RPG element. But if they can mix the two and make it feel great while still maintaining that RPG feel, and you know what I'm saying, that'd be great. And that's pretty much what I'm hearing. So that's good to hear, because that's gonna be hard to nail.
Yeah, agreed. And they're putting a lot in the game that, most companies, when they make a game, it's like hyper focused. You make a shooter, the shooting's going to be good. You make a racing game, the racing's going to be good, type of thing. And I'm not expecting them to be a racing game, but
Pretty
like,
cool if there's option to go to a track and fucking do side quests there.
well, yeah, but like a good example is like, in Grand Theft Auto, driving is like a serviceable thing. I would never say it's like you're not playing Forza or Gran Turismo. You know what I mean? Like, it's just it's a car. It works. Like, it feels well enough.
They put a lot of work into the cars in Grand Theft Auto, though.
They do.
They all feel different.
But I never feel like I'm not like, oh man, these cars like drive great. I'm just like, they work well. That's good. Like they should. But you always feel the whole thing with Grand Theft Auto is it just does so much and it does it all well. But I never am like it accelerates. You know, at driving, at shooting, at playing tennis or whatever.
Excels, so, yeah.
That's
a lot of games that hit multiple genres, though.
And that becomes a worry and that kind of stuff.
For sure.
They're putting a lot on their plate. So,
like, if you're playing a game that's like a fucking action game and then it went to the side perspective as a fighting game, it's not going to play as well as like fucking Street Fighter, DOA, because they didn't build it from the ground up.
It's not hyper-focused.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just like my thing I complain about all the time is stealth portions of games almost always suck.
Yeah.
I always appreciate if you do have a good stealth portion of a game, if it's not a stealth game, because you put work into it. But a lot of times just like stay in the shadows. If you're not in the shadows, they'll see you. If you are in the shadows, they won't see you. And then when you go behind them, press one button and execute them. And it feels like it's a waste of time because there's no tools or mechanics that make the stealth fun. It's just serviceable to the point of like, okay, you're sneaking in this portion of the game. How do we convey that? Well, the easiest way is just make them stand in the right area. They don't get seen.
Yeah.
And that's boring. Whereas like if you play, a good stealth game, there's all these different factors of how somebody can see you and stuff.
Sight, hearing, stuff.
I mean,
like
even, and bring up Last of Us Part 2 just because I'm playing it right now. Even in that game, you can crouch, they don't see you as well. You can lay down and crawl, they don't see you as well. But when like humans walk up in tall grass, if you're laying down, they can still see if they get close enough. Like you would in real life, if somebody's crawling through the grass, you got close enough, you'd see them down there. So it does have more expanded stealth elements, and none of it feels tacked on because it's a main core mechanic of the game.
For sure.
So, anything else?
Excited? Oh yeah, I mean, it's hard not to be.
Yeah.
Like nothing like this exists.
Keith in the Discord was like, I've never seen Seth's eyes so wide. Fucking watch them. I'm like, dude,
you've never seen him drunk.
This is true. This is true. And hopefully you won't on the show at the very least. If we hang out, maybe. Yeah, I'm fucking stoked for this game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's if it's done right, it's my dream game.
Yeah. This is always hard for me. I'm not a super expressive person, so I have to like try to vocalize my feelings a lot when I'm doing this kind of stuff. So
I don't know. People were talking about how you reacted physically to fucking the 48-minute video.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens. I'm not saying it doesn't.
They're like, dude, Chevy's like shaking right now, like watching this.
I mean, when this first started, I immediately got like a surge of chills, and I was like, "Ooh, okay." And then I went to take a drink, and I was like, "Okay." So I mean, it's there. I just
for sure.
I'm definitely a lot more reserved than most. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, let us know in the comments what you guys think of the Cyberpunk 2077 Night City Wire Episode 1. What was your favorite part of this? What did you think about the brain dance mechanic in the game? How did you like the trailer? I know people keep saying they're too short. I agree, but at the same time, I kind of like that they're holding a lot to their chest and not showing everything.
Yeah, 100%. I don't want to see too much.
Yeah. This game I want to go in as blind as possible at this point. Everything I've seen so far, I'm just fucking so sold on. What do you want to see in episode 2? We kind of talked about that a little bit. A couple things we'd like to see, specifically with how characters are built and how they interact with the world. What would you like to see them show off? What are some features you'd like to see in this game be implemented into it that we haven't seen? What would you like to see from the multiplayer component? Do you want it to be kind of like what we were talking about or something different? I know some people are against the idea of multiplayer, but it's being released later. It's not even part of this, so you're getting the whole game that you wanted if you don't want the multiplayer. So if you want the multiplayer, what would you like to see done with it? And yeah, give me your overall thoughts on Cyberpunk 2077 in the comments below. But that's going to do it for this TLG Reacts. Quick reminder that we have Plus Club coming out tomorrow and Game of the Month coming out either Monday or Tuesday. So look forward to that. Probably Monday. Because we got Tasty Tuesday. So many fucking episodes. But until then, have a good weekend, guys. And take it easy.